Should be live. So what I'm going to do is play our music.
Yo, it's Ben and Rob, we're hitting the scene. From the couch to the track, chasing that dream. Ben's the promi lad with the accent flair. Rob's the towering Stokey with the fitness to spare. Started on the sofa, now we're breaking the mold. Lacing up our trainers, let the stories unfold. From injury struggles to the runners high, we faced it all, now we're aiming sky high. Couch to coach, we're on the move, sharing running tips and the latest groove. Join the journey step by step, with Ben and Rob you'll find your pep. Rob's powerful stride, though he once took a hit. Goose Bruni couldn't make him quit. Ben's got the charm, though his R's might slip. Together they inspire with every quip. From Birmingham streets to Stokes Green lanes, we're conquering miles, embracing the gains. Whether you're a newbie or seasoned pro, tune in weekly, let's get set, go. Couch to coach, we're on the move, sharing running tips and the latest groove. Join the journey step by step, with Ben and Rob you'll find your pep. So hit that play button, don't delay. With the Couch to Coach crew, you're on your way. From the first mile to the marathon's end, let's run this race together, friend.
And we are live. We are live on YouTube. So hello to the thousands and millions and ones of listening and watching on YouTube. So this is the first time we've had a mystery guest on live on YouTube. So you as listeners and watchers can see Ben squirm when he doesn't know who the person is. Normally it's just me and obviously the mystery guest, and I will just show you now, there is never any editing in the amount of questions he asks. So I think this is our 5th or 6th mystery guest, I think. I can't remember. I'm always the one that says, I'm going to get the mystery guest. Ben's always said, I'm going to get you a mystery guest so I can get you back. Still hasn't happened. So I've booked this mystery guest. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to hand over to you, Ben, but I'm also going to say, people on YouTube, if you know this person, please don't give it away. You can ask questions as well, and I will ask the mystery guest questions. So over to you, Ben.
I've got no idea, if I'm completely honest with you. I'm assuming your name isn't Carl.
No, it is Carl.
Oh, it is Carl. Oh, that's a good start. I was worried your name was Julian. And I was going to be told you were Julian Blige, and then I had to run a party.
Yeah. So just to give you a bit of context to the mystery guest, we had a couple of weeks ago. I was talking about Julia Bliging for somebody, and he said if I can get somebody on called Julia Blige, then he'd have to run a marathon. He'd have to run a park run in his speedos. Was it Mankini or something? Mankini, that was it. So no, this isn't Julia Blige.
Fantastic. I thought your name was Julian Blige, but it's not. Carl, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, sir. How are you? You okay?
I'm all right, thanks. Whereabouts in the country are you?
I'm not in your country.
Yeah.
Don't swear. Please do not swear.
Okay, so I'm going to go through the normal process that I do here with Rob. Okay. I mean, he's getting quite predictable, is our Rob, to be fair, with his guests. So, do you listen to the podcast?
Never.
That's a good start, isn't it?
We have a listener. He's going to listen from now on, though.
From now on, I will. Yes.
Fantastic. You're obviously something to do with running.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, and Rob has this really good knack of booking people that have done things like records when it comes to running. So, are you some kind of record holder?
No.
Oh, Christ.
Do
you like running?
In truth, not really. But I do it, but no.
So in truth,
it's a bit like me then, to be fair.
You don't even run.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so you're not in this country, but you've got a British accent.
So I'm from Liverpool originally.
Liverpool.
And then I lived in London for 10 years, and now I live here. I'm 52.
You're 52.
Yeah.
Where's here, Carl?
Well, from my house, I can see France about 11 miles away, and England is about 110 miles away.
Christ.
So he's that much of a mystery guest. He's not even telling you where he's from.
You live on a little tiny island?
Yes.
Anglesey?
No,
No, that's France. You can't see France 10 miles away in Anglesey.
I'm no good at geography.
Isle of Man?
Isle of Man?
Bit lower. Just keep on coming lower.
Isle of Wight?
No, lower again. So
I'm terrible at geography. I'm also terrible at any general knowledge. We once had a mystery guest on. And
I'm from the Channel Islands, so I'm from Jersey.
Okay. Oh, hang on.
Will that help you?
Jersey. Have we talked about him on the podcast before, Rob?
Potentially. Yes. Of course we have.
Jersey. Running. I'm really feeling the pressure of this.
Ask some questions. Just ask questions.
So, are you famous for running a marathon?
In probably Jersey, yeah. But that's not why I was sort of brought to the attention.
So you've been brought to the attention in the media, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Okay. You were brought to the attention of the media for something running related.
Yes.
Were you running from someone?
No, I was more.
So you're not on this little island because you're on the run.
No.
Yeah, he's a criminal. He's wanted. He's like 10th wanted Britain person, but I've got him on the podcast.
Jersey. So my wife's from Jersey. So there's about 100,000 people living in the island, but she's a teacher, so there's no education system in Jersey to get a degree. So she had to go to England, and that's why we're back here as a teacher. But that's nothing to do with why I sort of was helpful. I was helpful. There you go. I was helpful.
There you go. That's a clue. Oh, I knew you'd get it. I knew you'd get it straight away.
You helped someone. Have you recently done a marathon?
Yeah.
The London Marathon?
Yeah.
And is it that one that you were...
Yeah.
Okay. And this was you... You helped John Terry?
I did.
Dressed as a shoe? Yes!
See, it didn't take you that long. It took you less than time than I thought it might take.
Absolute. What made you help John Terry? Go on, tell us the story. I know it. Listeners, tell them the story.
Basically, long and short of it, we live in Jersey and it's really expensive to stay overnight on a Friday night in London. So I get the flight on the Thursday as a day trip and fly back. It's £42 and you go to the expo, blah, blah, blah. So we went to the expo, got our bibs, and then we had a couple of Guinnesses. And then we went to the Nike outlet store, the pop-up store on Regent Street. And after about 4 Guinnesses, I then seen these new Alpha Flies in this white and purple bluey colour that I've never seen before. So I bought them and I looked and nobody seemed to have them on the marathon because nobody buys shoes on the Thursday and then runs on the Sunday.
No, not anyone mad enough. No.
But then I seen this guy about 20 yards ahead of me and he had the shoes on. So I ran to him to say, only the best runners wear these shoes. And that's when he said, do me a favour, go away. But it was less. It was not as polite as that.
Really?
I realised it was John Terry.
All right.
So he said, do us a favour, go away.
Because when you're running the shoe, I've been running in this, I've done a few marathons in the shoe, and people, when they see it at mile 3 or mile 6 or mile whatnot, they see and then you're sort of running the same pace as their friends. And 3 miles later, they've had a few more beers and they're starting to shout shoe and you're interacting and high-fiving the crowd and just having a general great time. So he could hear me from maybe at least a few miles where they're all just shouting shoo, shoo. And then once he then came and seen me, he was in a real bad way. He was struggling. I think he's gone out really quick and just struggled. And I hadn't, and I was having a great time, you know what I mean?
So what? How many miles in were you then when
I
you met
think
him?
we were about 18 and 19. So I was great. I was fine. I had no bother. But he was his nipples were bleeding. He was in a bad way. And
You're devastated being a professional athlete and recently retired, but you be in a good shape, being outpaced by a shoe.
Yeah, I think the heat got to him. I think he probably was looking at maybe doing 340 or 330, you know, that type of, and he's hit the wall right at the time where I've just came back and said, "Hey, how are you? Nice trainers." And then I basically had to get his heart rate down, slowed him down a bit, ran a couple of K with him and said, "Listen, I had like a caffeine gel and a 50 gram gel with a load of caffeine in it." I said, "Listen, I'll give you this gel and that'll get," because he'd run out of gels. He only had 4 gels. I mean, 4 gels, and so I gave him the gel, and he was like, "Why are you giving me the gel?" I said, "Listen, I'm fine. I can run." But I knew my wife, so I always organised. So I knew my wife was about a mile away with an SOS bag, which is basically the SOS bag has like plasters and deep heat and gels and full fat Coke and jellies and blah blah blah. So then I ran ahead, found the wife, and then ran against the traffic to find him, to give him the jellies and the full fat Coke.
And he didn't tell you to do one at that point.
No.
He was quite welcoming. Yeah, come back.
So then we got his heart rate down. His heart rate was really high, and he was struggling a bit. And I just said, "Listen, you just take small incrementals of the full fat Coke. Don't guzzle it all down. Just take it, and things will just start to get better." And then I met somebody in London afterwards, and they said, "Oh, we met John Terry." And I was like, "Oh, okay, how was he thinking?" And he said, "Oh, it was amazing. He was really good. Mile 24, he'd obviously all the sugar and everything had kicked in."
I mean, John Terry, for me, I'm a Villa fan and ex Villa captain. I'm not going to have a bad word said about John Terry.
Are you, Carl? Are you a football fan?
I'm a Liverpool fan, yeah.
So, so it's quite a seeing him. He must have been like, "Oh, do I help him? Do I not help him?"
In truth, I didn't realise, because obviously all runners look the same, don't we? Shorts and t-shirts, and from the back they all look the same. I didn't know it was until I'd seen his trainers, and then when I'd seen him, and he wasn't best happy to see me, he sort of said, "You know, do me a favour. I'm not in any mood for chatting with the fella in the shoe." And then
I was going to say chatting with a shoe.
Yeah, but then I sort of realised he was in a bit of a trouble, so I just helped him and just thought, you know, just get his heart rate down. And then I tried to give him, because I play a bit of football, I tried to give him the motivational, you're a leader, you're a captain, you're England's captain, just give him that type of banter that would just maybe just try and snap him out of the mood that he was in. And then he was really genuinely just a real good guy. But for the first interaction, he was in the man cave. He was in the pain cave. Sorry,
yeah.
He was in a bad way.
I can imagine you would be. To be fair, we've all run marathons, and we all know what it's like when it gets quite bad. Yeah, and you aren't in the mood for it, are you?
He set out, and it was hot, and he ran out of gels. So if he only had 4 gels, he hasn't got enough carbs going into his body, and he's trying to run at a pace. So I think he didn't know what else to do apart from, and the pain was screaming out.
Fair play for you for helping him. Fair play to. So let's talk about your marathon dressed as a shoe.
Okay. So just with the help thing, we would all do it. Everybody.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's the running community. If somebody's struggling, or if you see somebody, if you're running this year, I'm not necessarily going for a time. And I think on my Strava, I ran about 3K further than I should. Because if you're high-fiving somebody and you're going backwards, so it's not about time. It's not about how fast it is. It's about the spirit and enjoying London and giving back to the million supporters that are just there. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
So why were you dressed as a shoe?
So because I'm from Jersey, it's Jersey Hospice Care. So Jersey Hospice, they have a half marathon just around March, and it's really quite well supported. And they have that was their little mascot, and I'd seen it, and I thought to myself, if I can, pardon the pun, if I can shoehorn myself in it and get it to London, I'll give it a go.
And
so was that the first time? Is that the first time you've worn it then as well?
Right. So I've done London. So I did October 22, and then 23, 24, 25.
In the shoe.
In the shoe.
Wow. And how much have you raised? I'm presuming you're raising money for them.
So on the Just Giving page, it's about £26,000, and then
Wow.
there's about £4,000 that when people give you checks, you then go to hospital. So it's nearly £30,000 nearly.
And have you seen an increase of donations since the John Terry?
Yeah, or just even just say, people just say, listen, you did a really kind thing, and I'm going to do a kind thing and pay it forward. And but in truth, if I'm being really honest, apart from the wife, and my wife thought, she was like, oh, everybody from Jersey. She just thought John Terry was from Jersey. She didn't know it was John Terry the footballer. And then,
oh yeah, John lives down the road. You go pub with him.
She's not into football, but after you've run the marathon and you've seen your family and your friends and you go for a pint, I sort of completely forgot about it. Completely didn't, apart from the wife, but she flew home that night and I stayed over on my own. And it's only then when I woke up and knew your body's a bit, and I think, well, it's Metal Monday. I'll go and get a brekkie and I'll get a coffee. And then somebody texted me and said, was that you, John Terry? And I was like, oh yeah, it was, yeah. Thought nothing of it, had the brekkie. And then that's when the BBC and the ITV and and basically said, listen, John Terry's been really kind, and said some kind words on Instagram. And then it sort of snowballed a bit more in Jersey than it did otherwhere else. But it was in the Mirror, it wasn't it wasn't Sky. There was a small, just trying to help somebody.
And have you heard of him since?
No. Listen, in truth, I wouldn't even know how to contact him at the time.
I have tried. I must admit, I have tried. I've tried to get a message off him for you, and I've not heard anything back. He might send it still. If he does, I will send it to you.
Listen, it's not. Listen, you don't do it for.
And I have got him here with me now. I'm only joking. I am really.
You don't do it for that praise. You would have helped anybody. I mean, that's what you would do.
Yeah.
And you would hope that if you were in that trouble, somebody would just pull aside and say, listen, I'll give you kind words of advice, or I'll tell them the why. Remember your why you're doing it. If it's for a charity, blah blah blah. Just trying to snap him out of the mood he was in.
So you were captaining the captain, the ex-captain of England football team.
Yeah, basically, yeah, with like motivational bants. I was trying to keep him, just trying to take his mind off the pain he was in. And we've all, however, we've all hit that horrible mile or 2 miles or 3 miles where nothing seems to be going right, and you're just running through treacle. So he just needed a bit of pep talk.
Yeah.
And Carl, how do you train for a marathon?
In a shoe.
When you're going to run it in a shoe?
So we live in Jersey. So Jersey's an island, so it's quite windy. So for the first,
he flies around rather than runs around. He just lets it take him up.
So for January and February, for the London Marathon, January and February, I just run with a weighted vest because the shoe weighs 7 kg or ish. So I run with a weighted vest, or I just run January, February, and then when the clocks sort of change, sometime in March to April, I then run on like a safe, like railway track or railway path or running track. So because you can't see, I can't see the watch, I can't see my feet. So you've got to run somewhere. So it's not, I'm never on a main road because I just can't see anybody behind me.
So you're actually running training in the shoe?
Yes, yeah.
So you must, with such a small island and such a small community, you must be quite well known in Jersey for the shoe man.
I think people don't recognise me as I am, but they'll shout shoe man, or sort of like really kind people. They'll literally see me and stop outside where cars stop. They park and they say, "Here's £10 for your." And I've got no hands, so there's a little zip on my shorts. They put the £10 in. They tell me the name, and then I've got to put it on my Just Giving account when I come back, like an hour later or 2 hours later. But
that's incredible.
It's been kind, so.
Yeah. So if anybody is listening or watching, if you're watching on YouTube, we will be putting the YouTube link. So go on to Just Giving. I'm presuming it's just Carl Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick, 1973. Year was born, 51.
Yeah.
So it's not rocket science.
So go and find him on Just Giving and donate if you feel like you need to donate. I think John Terry should donate.
You don't want to put pressure on it. Listen, people have been kind, and people have you said some kind words, and I'm only doing it for being kind. I'm not.
Yeah, I understand that.
One of our listeners,
the running community and the London Marathon, that's what everybody's about. Everybody's about helping and supporting, and
definitely.
One of our listeners, Carly, she's put on the YouTube, was John Terry wearing full kit?
No, no. But most running vests, if you rub them, they'll start fires. These just 100% like nylon. Yeah. So I think what's happened is he didn't wear like a skin. He just wore it, so his nipples were bleeding. He had this brand new T-shirt that he's probably never worn or washed. It just came straight out of the packet. So he wasn't in a good way. But he had these new, but obviously he had these new Nike shoes because he could get them before they were released. I got them.
I mean, it sounds like he's made a few errors. Let's be honest, with the lack of gels and the vest and maybe your own buying trainers a few days before.
How were the trainers?
Listen, I'm running a shoe. I don't care how this. For me, it doesn't matter. It's just I'm sure Kipchoge doesn't really care. He just bangs down.
I don't think Kipchoge's ever run a marathon in a shoe, though. To be fair,
no, maybe not. But yeah, the shoes were outstanding. I'd already had them in the yellow color like the year before, so I knew what they were like. So the same size, just a different color. I had a bit of a tan. I thought, tan, they'll be okay, and they fitted like a glove. I just put them on. Didn't even do a 5K in them. I just put them on Sunday morning. I'm headed from London Bridge straight to the start now.
Off he goes, dressed as a shoe. So what's next for Cole the Shoe?
So to give back to obviously all the people from Jersey, there's a Jersey Marathon in October.
Yeah.
So I do this will be my third year in the shoe doing Jersey. The only downside with Jersey, it is windy. Yeah. So the shoe will act one way like a kite, but then it's tough going the other way. So, but yeah, it's Jersey's 20th year doing the Standard Chartered Jersey Marathon. So I'm going to be running in that. I'm trying to do, for the charity, I'm trying to do 3 marathons a year until I'm 62. So hopefully like London, Jersey, and then one or other. Do you know what I mean? That's the plan.
And you told me that you don't, what was it you said? You don't really like running? Why is that then if you're doing that?
Well, I'm trying to give back. I'm trying to help. And probably if you think about it, it gives you the April marathon gives you a trainer block to get you there. And then the October marathon gives you another trainer, which you're always like trying to maybe keep the weight down, keep fit, probably drink too much or overindulge sometimes. So you're trying to do things in a balance, and you're thinking, well, if I've got a marathon to look forward to, then I can maybe eat and
So other than running in the weighted vest and obviously going out when the wind drops in the shoe, what does your training look like? Because you do 3 marathons a year. Is it just you maintain that level of fitness? You just do the easy runs because you're in a shoe, or?
So I basically for the London Marathon, I ran 100K a week for 13 weeks.
Yeah. And
then the other 3 weeks tapering, it was just easy. So I had 6 days a week running, 1 day off. That was 15K a day for 5 days, and then the Sunday would be the longer run, and that's sort of how it worked. And if the weather's good in February on a good Sunday, then I'll run in the shoe. If the weather's good or there's a good day, I'll run in the shoe. But it's got to work. And so here's the thing, I've ran in it downwind in 4 minutes a K, and into the wind 9 minutes 49.
Wow. So
really it's such a resistance.
Yeah.
It's just it's crazy. So do you know what I mean? So it's got to be where it's not windy or not just if it's raining, it doubles in weight. Yeah. So it goes from 7 kg, it's like 15 kg because it just like a sponge.
Like a sponge.
Yeah. So you've got to be careful that it's not wet, and you've also got to be careful, especially if it's not windy. So I don't mind the heat because it's like running. It's like running in a microwave. Do you know what I mean?
Doesn't sound fun.
No, not at all.
But then the support and so you can't have it both ways.
So I bet you obviously you get a lot of adrenaline from the cheering that you get, because we had a guest on who dresses as a rhino. You've probably heard of him, Rhino Boy Chris.
Oh yeah, so I met him when he comes to Jersey. I met him.
There we go.
He didn't come last year. He didn't come last year, but he came the year before, and I met him in London this year. Said hello to him. And I think he's coming to Jersey this year.
Yeah, he's a good friend of the show, Rhino Boy. Yeah, but he's got hundreds of videos of the camaraderie, dancing with the band, saying hello. So I guess you're very similar. You'd be doing all that.
Yeah, I think the thing is with with the shoe that the younger kids can sort of relate to the shoe and they like seeing the shoe and then once I say shoe or shoe, then the next crew follow it along, and before you know it, everybody's shouting shoe all the way along and then the kids are coming for high fives. So that's why on my Strava I was like 3K longer. I was like, I don't care. It doesn't matter how long it takes or how. I'm not looking to break any records. I'm just looking to get around.
And that's the beauty.
I was going to ask that question. I was going to ask that question actually. Have you ever tried to run a world record in the shoe?
No, I haven't yet. So
And do you know what the record is?
So I do. So in October of 24, I ran the Jersey Marathon in 3 hours 58. And the guy that had the record was 3 hours 56. Don't quote me, it's either John or Paul, but then somebody has now ran in an apron that looks like a flip-flop, and he's smashed it because the apron, it just looks like an apron with a flip-flop in the front. So it doesn't look like a fully sized shoe. It just looks like an apron with a flip-flop, and he's run it ridiculously quick. So, but the guy before that ran in a full-size, life-size shoe, and I was only about 2 minutes behind him. But in Jersey, I knocked myself out as well.
What with the shoe?
I just didn't see this. There was a stump, didn't see it, and just knocked myself out.
Oh,
just
wow.
Blood in my mouth, blood in my hands, and then I get up, and I don't realise, so I run, and then eventually one of the lads caught me, and he basically said, I said, why's the blood in my mouth? What's going on? Where's the blood? And he sort of said, I was like, I've knocked myself out, but then I just got up and ran.
And you did it in 3 hours 58?
And that's 3 hours 58. Yeah.
You've just said,
oh, wow.
You've just said so much in the last 2 minutes that I never thought I would hear said by human beings. I'm really struggling to process all that.
So 3 hours, 3 hours 58. You ran in a shoe. 3 hours 58. You fell over, knocked yourself out.
Yeah.
2 minutes off the world record, and there's a guy that's ran a marathon in an apron, looks like a flip flop.
Yes, that's what, and that's what. But there's nothing. I mean, I'm not. But I'm not. It's not about. It's more the enjoyment. If you imagine if I had to focus on trying to run it, and then you don't see your family or your friends or your wife, or you don't say, there might be an old lady there who's got some jellies that wants a little high five, and I don't go and give her the 2 seconds of time a day to say thank you for them jellies, or thank you for the orange, or what I mean. So it's not. Yeah. It's not about. It's more about me giving back, and it's more about me appreciating the people that are there than it is just trying to focus on getting a record and not.
Based on the fact that you're giving high fives, your arms are obviously out. Amy Carney, who's watching, hello Amy, has asked. I expected this question to come. What type of shoe is it?
It's like a full-sized, life-size shoe, like a shoe.
But I think the girls are asking: is it like a Jimmy Choo? Is it a stiletto? Is it designer? Is it a trainer?
It's the prototype Alpha Fly, so it just looks like a running shoe.
There we go. Amy Carney says she needs a visual. So are you on Instagram?
Have you got it?
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant.
Here we go. We're gonna get the shoe.
Carl is gone to get the shoe. We are going to see this shoe. There you go. See? Another mystery guest for you. So we've had, on the podcast, we've had Rhino Boy Chris. We've had Carl dressed as a shoe, and here is the shoe. Oh, wow.
Incredible.
So it's 5 foot and 7 kg. Wow. But I have to run and hold the shoe. So I hold it. So my arms are screaming because I'm obviously holding the shoe, and it chafes. It chafes horrendously.
I'm now having a conversation with a shoe. Yeah, look. So now we got. Amy said, "Thank you for showing us the shoe. Brilliant, ace. Well done." They're loving the fact that you.
So we on the podcast, Carl. So you unfortunately you're not the first person that we've had that's ran in a costume. So we've had Rhino Boy Chris, and we also had a guy called Joe, who ran the London Marathon dressed as a pint of beer, and he's also ran a marathon dressed as a cracker as well. So you're in good company.
Good. Yeah. Listen, we should set up our own group.
Yeah, you should go on Britain's Got Talent as the runners that dress up as weird and wonderful things.
So listen, it is good. I sort of give a bit back to the charity. Hope we get spotted. I got on the BBC and I was on Sky and blah blah blah, and then obviously not even realising the John Terry thing was even going to come about until the next day. So it's if I can help promote the charity and I can do good and put smiles on people's faces, that's all I'm trying to do. And the last thing, I'm sort of trying to pass the baton. I'm 52 soon, yeah. So I'm trying to pass the baton on to somebody who's 18, 20, that might think, you know what?
Rob will do it.
I knew that was coming. I knew you were going to say that. If anybody is listening to the podcast and fancies running around as a shoe,
or what I'm trying to say, it doesn't necessarily have to be a shoe. It could be a charity close to their heart. Do you know what I mean? There might be somebody that's going through troubles, or the friend's going through troubles, and they think, you know what? I'm going to make a difference, or this person's struggling, or got horrendous cancer or something. You think, you know what? I'm going to run for kids with cancer. I'm going to run in a 2-2, or I'm going to run in. Do you know what I mean? So it's all about just trying to pass the baton on and ask people.
I ran the Great North Run dressed as a naughty nurse a couple of years ago to raise money for Parkinson's UK.
We could run a marathon dressed as a couch together.
Yeah, together. You're a lot faster than me, so I'd have to try and keep up with you. But yeah, so why the shoe though? What pertinence is that to do with the hospice?
That was their mascot.
Yeah, you did say.
Started them off at the start line and then welcomed them in. And when I seen it, I just thought, well, it's they've got the half marathon and it sort of works. So I've had to put like a harness and sort of, so the chafing is really bad. I mean, really bad. And I have to run up and down as opposed to stride because my legs are like hitting. So it's not designed to be running, but I've made my style to run in it.
You've customised it.
Yes, basically. Yeah.
Because James Mitchell has said that shoe isn't far off his height. So
yeah, that's true. Actually, James is only short.
To his own admission. To that sense.
So it's about 5 foot.
And how tall are you?
I'm about 5'11".
Oh yeah, okay.
So it must be really difficult. Yeah, you probably. Wow, yeah, that's even more impressive.
Your back is screaming, and your arms, because you're physically holding the shoe up with your arms. So imagine try and run a K with your hands on your head. It's hard to run without your arms.
And does it smell as well?
Everybody has that. I don't know why, but everybody has that. What I do is I Febreze it, I clean it, and then in Jersey, because it's a bit sunnier, that I leave it out, and it just comes back to a nice smell.
Yeah. I mean, Rob's got size 13 feet. He could probably wear one of them on his feet.
Size 13 and a half, nearly 14. I was going to say that. It's a similar size to my shoe, actually.
I have asked the charity as well because I turned 50. I ran the Berlin Marathon because it was their 50th year in the shoe.
Yeah.
And then the Germans were like, shoot, they come in pairs. Why? So they were puzzled. They were like, why is there not two? Why is there not two? So I did say to the charity, I said, listen, the Germans have been asking for a pair of shoes, because that's how they come. So they said, well, maybe we'll get you another shoe, or you need to find someone crazy enough to want to run. You know what I mean? But so do you know what I mean? That's the
silly time.
The thing is, my shoe would have to be a lot bigger. I'd have to be a lot bigger, so it would be an odd pair. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Emma Bridges is touting Chris.
One size fits all, I think.
One size, yeah.
I have made people try and run it. So when we do things for charity, or I do get people say, right, okay, just run a K in it, and they're taking it off when they're not.
I would imagine we're training currently for an ultra marathon, and we're supposed to be wearing a 10 kg weighted vest, and we climbed Snowdon in this weighted vest. That wasn't too bad, but I think it's probably not the weight of it that's going to be putting people off. It's probably the cumbersomeness, if that's a word. So the size of it. Yeah, cumbersomeness. I don't know if that's a word. The size of it, the inability to swing your arms properly. I'd imagine your arms out a little bit more.
Even I can't just get a gel. I have to stop and move to the side because I can't. You're trying to open it up and it's just coming all down your face and in your ear. So I have to stop. And even trying to drink fluids, I have to stop. And if you have them cups where they're like a little, you have to pinch them. it's not
Yeah.
easy. So
that's all part of your training, isn't it? Really?
yeah, sort of. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so I run in a watch, but I don't know what time it is because I can't really see what time it is. So just whatever it is whatever it is. But Strava then tell you as soon as you cross the line. So in London this year was 4:29, and it was about 3k over what I should have ran. But I haven't worked that out yet. I haven't worked just to follow that line. I keep on veering off or going backwards to meet John Terry.
I was going to say, you could take some pop to John Terry.
Yeah.
Do you run without the shoe then as well, or do you just run with like races? I mean,
No, I'm not. As I say, I'm not. It's not about if I run, I run. I'm not fussed. It's about finish line than it is finish time. I'm not fussed.
yeah.
So I have ran like Amsterdam. I ran Amsterdam with no shoe, but somebody got injured on the Thursday, and you could change the bib. And I went on the Saturday, but I went to Amsterdam and I had like 9 pints, and then ran the next. I was on holiday. I mean, I was just thinking.
Yeah.
So, but Amsterdam was really good. I ran with no shoe, and Amsterdam was really good.
Isn't that how running should be, though?
Yeah.
Finish lines, not times. It's good.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
good.
See, the running community have sort of helped me and been really kind and really nice. I don't mind as long as I can run at the pace. I'll run with anybody, and I like to chat and run and chat, and then I mean that's how it seems to be. Well, that's how people have sort of taught me it's inclusive and everybody will help you, and that's what we sort of try and do.
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
I understand that people have times and have goals, but sometimes they put all that pressure on themselves. And I'm thinking, I'd rather just be 15 minutes slower and enjoy it than, or miss it by 2 or 3 minutes and then hate the run or feel really disappointed or upset. I'm thinking, if it's important to you, then fine. But I'd rather get my money's worth. I'd rather be out there 20 minutes more and enjoy it.
Absolutely. Good message to end on, I think, there, Carl. Thank you very much for coming on. Much appreciated. Thank you for being a mystery guest. Thank you for being our first live mystery guest.
And listen, if you ever want to come to Jersey and run the Jersey Marathon, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. See the Rhino boy, Chris.
Yeah.
I could run the same pace. We could run the same pace and we'd have a laugh.
Yeah. There you go then. That's an invitation that we'll take you up on. We'll come across to... I've never been to Jersey, I don't think. I might have done when I was a kid, but I don't think I've been Guernsey, I think, when I was a kid.
Guernsey's about 4 miles where you can sort of
Yeah, so we'll do it. But if anybody is wanting to sponsor Carl, please go and find the link. I will put it in the link at the bio of this podcast episode.
Please, if anybody donates, great. If they don't, listen, have a great week and just enjoy running.
Thank you very much. Just stay with us there, Carl, while I just end the podcast. Just bear with me a sec.